one of the verandas just opposite where that computer place is there, and we would listen to Midnight Groovers all night. So that level of fascination in terms of the music and the way the guys express themselves in song. It was also the time and the moment of several uprisings in Dominica, the whole Dread Act, the whole situation. So that actually fascinated me, and it gave me an opportunity to look back at history in the eyes of the musician. Because that's why I have a special love for Midnight Groovers and Chubby and Gordon Henderson in particular, because the lyrical content went a little deeper. Chubby is, to my mind, was like a philosopher. He sang several songs about back to Africa, milk and honey. And one of my favorites is always I sukwe saku lauvan shabon, because there's a particular line that says tout bon temps, c'est pour all good times, for all good times, for a time. So there are several people that will be on earth for eternity. Someday you will have to leave this earth, and the billions and the amount of monuments that you have settled and castles that you have built, you will have to leave all that and go back to the maker. So I was always fascinated about Creole music, and that is why when we left school, myself and Ole, continued. For times we would have compa parties at Ole's home in Buffalo.
Compa parties.
Compa party. And because Ole was a compa fanatic. Not like me, I strayed a little. When you're talking about Creole compa, you're talking about Francis Ole. So we would have parties at Ole's home in Barber State. Kobo and a few other guys would be around. And we would start those parties Friday night. And we would end those parties on Sunday night, non-stop, by telling you eat food, and Dorian Simon, those guys used to pass. And we would listen to music. I'm talking about we were at about 16, 17, and we would listen to music all weekend long. Play. So when I hear certain journalists talk about Creole music and the dimensions and where it has gone to, they have no idea of what it took. Because I saw these musicians going out there, understanding where they came from, ordinary people. Their parents felt that music, why music? Study doctor, study lawyer, but some of them decided it's music they wanted to do. And we have seen, the success of people like Gordon and Ophelia, the late Jeff. And that's why I admire these guys, even Fitzroy Williams, because they didn't only play the music, but they studied the industry. And they learned how to move around. Because if a guy like Chubby was born in some other place, he would be a millionaire. Because with the amount of hits after hits this guy produced with his brother, it's just unfortunate that Dominica did not embrace the music like how the French did. If Dominica possibly had invested into record studios, then the guys wouldn't have to go by Debs and those places, Plaza and those places. If we had invested into record studios, then maybe it would be at a bigger disadvantage for those musicians in those times. But then my passion continued until I became a DJ, a Creole DJ. And I'm proud to say, as I speak, no other DJ has traveled extensively as I have. I've traveled the entire Caribbean playing Creole music, that is. Just last weekend, I was in Antigua playing a Zouk party from midnight until 5 o'clock. At the turn of the new year, I was in Florida, I was in New York. No other DJ have traveled extensively promoting Creole music, and in particular Dominican music, like I have did on the outside. Toronto, Miami, Boston, New Jersey, New York City several times, Paris, you name it. I have been there promoting Creole music because this is my life.
So that brought me, as you're speaking, I'm saying, we understood where you first got the love for the French music or the Creole music. And it started right in your backyard, practically. But what gave you that drive to continue appreciating and loving that Creole music to the point where you continue to promote it both locally and even outside of Dominica?
Well, one of the mainstays is my brethren Ole. Because Ole is a hardline Creole maestro. Tell him. Ole, he loves other music, but you're not going to hear him playing other music. I remember, Ole is 100% Creole.
What does that mean? What?
100%.
Oh.
100% Creole. And because we were close, we were like brothers. You know, he almost every minute I would spend is Creole music at Ole's home. I even tried my hand at playing the guitar at Dr. Irvin Mack's home because that was like my adopted home in Fokani. That we used to be there on a weekend and playing guitar, Puyo Kuku and playing Midnight Groovers, and we would try that. So then it was this foundation which actually brought me to where I am and my love for that particular music, because I felt that the lyrical content of some of the songs, when I listened to them, they had a kind of prophetic feeling to it.
You could relate.
I could relate, and unlike the music for today that are one-dimensional or not as dimensional as and hasn't got the variety as before, I saw musicians in Kadas Calypso with the same formation of the songs, the verse, chorus, but then they give themselves latitude for music, instrumentation like the Haitians. So whereby the Kadas Calypso was influenced, and the foundation of Kadas was the compa. The Kadas Calypso then came and influenced the Haitian compa. So the instrumentation is what I love. When I hear the guitar pickings in between, and I hear Pierre Labor on the saxophone, when I hear Ko with his rhythmic vibes, I hear Julie Morillo and those guys. I love Bilo Men because of and Gramax because of the instrumentation. And the beautiful thing about the Creole music, in particular Kadas Calypso music, these bands had unique sound. Exile One sound, Midnight River. So Midnight River is the only band with their own sound. No other band can duplicate the sound of Midnight Rivers, and I really hope that maybe before these guys go to the wild beyond, that they could train some young people to preserve that style. Liquid Ice had their own style, Gramax their own style, Bells Combo from Maho had their own style. I remember stowing at the Simon to listen to Halibut, because this guy was a sensational singer down at the Simon, the first Simon, not where Simon is presently, but the first Simon to actually listen to Kadas Calypso music. So this is in my blood for nines. I used to breathe and eat Kadas Calypso. So when it came to the other genres of Creole music, it was very easy for me to actually ingest it, because my love for instrumentation and musicality of certain sounds was the foundation to my love for Creole music.